John was a little bit bored with his real estate business, and he was trying to sit at the piano and write songs. And when he got bored with that, like all creative people do, and if you're trying to work at something at home, when he got bored with that, he made phone calls. And he loved different kinds of characters, different people. He enjoyed going to any kind of place that somebody was going to be different, somebody that a lot of people wouldn't like for one reason or another. John would like them, and he'd find a reason to talk to them.
I guess the thing that I thought most about John was he loved to study someone's reaction. And the more reaction you had, the more he loved it, and the more he fed on it. And of course, if he could get a violent reaction, that's even better. That's just icing on the cake at that point.
Hey, is this Eddie's auto? Yeah, it's Ed. Well, who's this here? It's Ed. Well, Eddie Otto, this is Eddie Otto you're talking to. Well, it's Bill Morgan up here just this side of Maryville.
He called and said that I'd sold him an oil filter and it blowed his motor up.
Listen, I bought an oil filter off of you here a while back, and I believe my damn car's blowed up now. And, well, they told me to take you down there and just you'd pay for it. Pay for what?
I explained it to him best I could.
You might be calling me a son of a bitch over the phone, but I don't think you do it by God standing in front of me. Huh, I'll whoop your ass. Well, let's see you do it.
Worse he got while I retaliated with the same statements just about as he did, so that's the way it ended up.
You keep on, I'll be there.
John Bean was quite a character. He was just like my brother, to tell you the truth. We did a lot of things together. He was an unusual sort of fellow that you'd never meet another person like him in your life. He loved life, and he loved to pull fast ones on people.
The funniest tapes I've ever heard in my life.
It was a never-ending adventure living with John was. You never knew from one minute to the next what was going to happen, but it would always be interesting. It always was.
I mean, he was to me, he was a comedic genius. And if he had been in the right situation, like if he had had access, maybe, and if he was to the right people, and maybe if he was in the kind of more of an entertainment area, I think, and if he had maybe focused on that more, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that he could have been really great and well known and done a whole lot. The more you listen to those tapes, the more you see the depths and the degrees of humor there. And it's not, those tapes are not just like calling somebody up, taking advantage of them. I mean, it was like the way he dealt with human nature was unique.
Keep in mind, you know, if you have a loved one eaten by pigs, you always think of that.
And my brother had acquired him, you know, one of these 10th generation things, and he said, you have to listen to this. And we sat out in the parking lot. I was working at the Punchline, a comedy club in Atlanta, and he had been to the show, and we sat out in the parking lot listening to this thing, and we just kept rewinding it and listening to it over and over again. And I knew that night my life had been changed.
At the time, so we done a lot of motor and transmission work, and I done a lot of mechanic work up there. So at the time he called, I was working on an old pickup truck we had and was trying to get it going, and I was having a lot of problems. So I was a little bit aggravated already because I was having a hard time. And then, you know, here this guy calls about a rim.
This is Roy Mullins, and I bought a damn rim here. It's been about 8 months ago, and the sumbitch must have been crooked, but it's wore my tire down to nothing. And I'm going to have to get me a new tire out the deal and a new rim, and possibly a realignment job. And I just calling up there to tell you about it.
You try to be nice to these people when they call.
Bad, Dan. You just bring the sumbitch back, we'll give you another goddamn rim, you dummy.
And you're trying to handle it, and then one thing leads to another, and he just gets plumb out of hand, and I just lose it. I just come unglued on him.
Well, I don't want to have to whoop your ass over it. I just want you to pay for it. I'll give you another rim. I ain't done nothing else. Are you that little skinny sumbitch I bought it off of?
You know, so you pretty much can tell when you get to talk to somebody whether it's something serious or something not.
We used to play it in the store just for our own enjoyment, and we soon found out that you couldn't really do that without a lot of people wanting a copy. And we were so in love with the tape that we made it for just about anybody that brought us a blank tape. And we ran off hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these things. And whoever I ran them off for obviously ran off hundreds and hundreds, and they just started going everywhere. Mel Tillis got one, and Chris Isaac apparently is a big fan. It was a big hit on his tour bus. And I was in a group called Smoke and Dave at that time, and we recorded a record in Nashville, which we called you know, the ultimate tribute. And we started giving it to recording engineers, country recording engineers, and they started putting it on digital audio tape and passing it around to all these country stars. So a lot of country musicians have this. But also heavy metal bands would stop in from Sweden and say, you know, where is Tom McKinn's and where is Eddie Zato? You know, so we'd say, wow, how did they get it?
And my brother sent it to his nephew, or one of the nephews, Michael, over in Desert Storm in 1980. When was it? 92 when they had that?
I guess.
And he sold it to one of them Arabs that translated it into the Arabian language, and they started selling them over there.
That's the funniest damn tape I've ever heard.
Well, I talk to my brother 3 times a day on the telephone, and we never have a conversation that one or both of us don't say, huh? You know, I mean, it can be, you know, what have you been doing? Well, I just went to the grocery store. Huh? You know, that's what good, you know. I'll whoop your damn ass. Nothing for me to whoop a man's ass. That may be the all-time favorite. But, you know, I mean, even some of the more obscure ones. There'll be a dead dog on your counter. I live here and I work here. You know, we have a lot of them. Damn water, of course.